yeah. So then, I'm like, okay, I want to be a lawyer. I graduated from UF. I got through all this other BS, right? You got to apply, right? And when you apply on your application, you have to disclose everything.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of law school, you got your character and fitness, right? I passed the bar on the first time, passed the bar. Everyone was getting sworn in to be lawyers, but I had a hold up on my character and fitness because I had to explain all this stuff, right? And what they look at is your admission to law school, what you disclose on that application, and then they look at what you disclose when you're going to become a lawyer, and they look to make sure that those match up. Right? Because if there's any inconsistencies on something you should have disclosed or didn't disclose, again, that goes against your standard. And for me, I had all the other bullshit with the disorderly conduct and the criminal stuff, but then I had all this university stuff, and the biggest one being one of the charges was, not being fully candid with the university investigation. So what happens is you have to wait to go to the tribunal, right, with the Florida bar. And I passed the bar. I'm clerking during the day for my first boss, Michael Weinstein. I'm doing criminal work during the day as a clerk, and then I'm working in a restaurant at night, right? Meanwhile, everyone I went to law school with is already lawyers, making money. I'm over here like, working two jobs, like not knowing when you're going to even become a lawyer because they only offer these hearings like 4 times a year at various locations across the state, and then they don't tell you when they're even going to permit you to go before the board, right? And so I got a funny story here. So I finally get called. I go to Orlando, right? And I got no money for a lawyer. And my parents definitely aren't paying for a lawyer after all the other bullshit.
Not anymore.
So Michael Weinstein, my boss at the time, he's my lawyer going into this administrative hearing, right? And I ran into one of my old fraternity brothers at the hearing, okay? And he's licensed already in like another state, Georgia, right? And he was trying to get his admission in Florida, and they were giving him problems. And so before he went to the hearing, he wrote this long, nasty letter to the bar, like, this is outrageous. Like, I don't know why I'm getting called to this hearing and blah, 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 blah. And, raising all these concerns, right? So I see him before. I'm like, all right, man, I guess I'm in this room. You're in that room. I'll talk to you after, right? So I go into my room. Same thing. It's a tribunal. I'm scared as shit. Like, because same thing, tape recorder. And they're allowed to ask you anything that's ever happened in your entire life, and you got to be fully truthful and candid. And I'm like, thinking back, I'm like, oh Lord, what are they going to ask me? What am I going to say? It's horrible. So I walk into my tribunal, and it's 3, like, I describe them as frat guys, right? They're like older lawyer frat guys, right? Like, I couldn't have gotten a better board, right? So I walk in, 3 frat guys. Michael Weinstein sits down, and he talked about himself for the first 10 minutes and how his dad's a judge and, all this stuff, talking to, like, hyping me up and saying I'm good, right? So when they finally started asking me some questions, they're like, what do all these events have in common? I was like, they were all alcohol related, and I've done a much better job of, not getting intoxicated to the point where I'm making bad decisions, and I got my life together, right? Bam. 1 week later, I'm cleared, right? I was like, oh my God, thank God. I asked my buddy, I was like, how was yours? I was like, mine went well. He's in there for 2 hours, right? Let's just say his board, his tribunal was the complete opposite of mine, right? And so they're like, we got the letter. And then drilled him, right? And he was getting admonished, everything under the sun. And I see him afterwards. I'm like, how'd you go? I'm like, I think mine went well. He's like, mine didn't go well. I was like, oh man. So he had to wait like another full year before they licensed him in Florida. So,
they did license him though.
They did, but he had to wait like another year. I got cleared like a week later.